Hi everyone. So in this video, I'm just sharing with you uh, how my life was with my grandmother in terms of like discipline and stuff like that. I was when I was growing up, early age, with my other siblings and one of my cousins. My grandmother took a whole responsibility because my grandfather had two wives initially, but then later on added a third wife. I still remember what was happening when he brought in the third wife. Yeah, but most of the times my grandmother really was keen on just advising, not necessarily uh, smacking or beating you up. Of course, at sometimes if you've done really something bad. So I remember there was a time I was going to draw water with another cousin, and as we were walking, going to the well to fetch water, we stopped under a mango tree and we sat down and we started playing, some of the children games there. And so we took long. My grandmother came. She saw us under the mango tree that we were just there playing, and we had not even gone to the well to draw the water. So my grandmother just passed us and she went straight to the well, and we started following, running after her. She didn't talk to us. She took her water, went home because she was at home waiting for the water. But as we were just playing and we didn't turn up. So when we got home, yes, we got we got, yeah, she beat us up. That was one. But there was um at another time way back when I was still young. What happened was when I went to school, there was another girl who, because as we lived far from the mountains, but the school was just at the bottom of the mountain, Ponda Mountain. Yeah, I think it's Ponda. Yes, Ponda Mountain. So after school, one of the girls, and I still remember her name, she was called Tabu Mugara. They lived at the base of the mountain. So she had experiences of climbing mountains and everything. So she told us that, oh, there's a lot of mushroom now in the mountain. Those who want to come with me, we can go and get the mushrooms. My sister refused to come with us, but me, I said, I will go. So went to the mountain, and at that time I had never climbed a mountain. My God, I was the one behind all the time, and all my friends had, because if you're in front, you're the one who see the mushrooms and you pick and pick and pick. I'm coming behind them and I'm tired. And if I mean a mountain, it's a proper mountain, like climbing to the top of it. And while you are also looking where are, and it's my first time to how I didn't even know how to harvest the mushrooms. I knew, and I love the mushrooms, but I didn't know how it's harvested. So this was my first time. By the time we came back, I was completely tired. Going up the mountain and coming back was the hardest thing to do. I was just sliding. You sit down and you start sliding, because walking, it was just like I'll go with my head forward, right? It's a mountain. So you are coming down, and I'm like, it was crazy. So we're sitting down and we're sliding. And I was hungry because I just came from school without lunch and all of that. Go to the mountain. We came back, but it was late. She lived at the base of the mountain, but me, I had to walk very far to get home, and it's at night. Thank God, there was a full moon, but it wasn't safe. I didn't think in terms of safety. I was just thinking of going home. So at home, my sister had told my grandmother that we have gone uh to look for the mushroom. But my grandmother was like, uh, who told her to go to look for mushrooms? Has she ever seen me here going to look for mushrooms in the mountain? Isn't it that we just get mushrooms when people have already harvested and we get from them, or unless if it's close by, then we go and pick. Somehow I managed to get home after the walking to go home. By the time I came home, everyone was outside standing looking for me. They should have been sleeping, but then because they are saying I'm missing, yeah. The time I arrived with a very little mushrooms, my grandma just took the mushrooms straight away and threw them in the pit latrine, and she beat me up nicely. Yeah. That from that time ever, I never, yeah, I never would go anywhere without asking first. No, I was so scared. I was so scared. The other time that I also remember my grandmother disciplining me, like really beating me, or of some sort, yeah, is what happened was me and my sister, there's a game that you play. You tell each other to have a part of what you are wearing folded. So, for example, if my dress had a collar, the collar would be like folded already. If it didn't, I need to fold somewhere. It's like a children thing that we were doing. So if you are in that game you have joined, people have to see that you have folded somewhere and they say yes, she's observing. If you haven't, people start beating you and reminding you to say you haven't folded. So I was in this game with my sister, and I saw my sister, she hadn't folded, so I started beating her, say, hey, fold, oh, you haven't folded, you haven't folded. My sister was saying, no, I folded my petticoat, petticoat inside. It's like, how can we see, how can we know? You know she's lying. No, she didn't even wearing petticoat. Hey. So because I beat her, my sister started crying and she went home to say I've beaten her. My sister was older than me, 1 year older. But in terms of physicality at the time, I've always been a little bigger than her. And my sister, they were twins. So they were both really small in the body. And myself, I was growing faster. So I looked as if I'm the older than her. I'm older than her. So when we got home, my sister is crying, what has happened? And she told my grandma that I had beaten her. My grandma pinned me down and told my sister to say, can you beat her to the level that she beat you? And I was just there lying down, pinned by my grandmother, and my sister beat my grandmother. Just no, beat her more. Just beat her so that she should never touch you again. You are her older sister. She's not supposed to do her. And yeah, so that was it. That was also another way where I was like, oh my god. So since then I really respected my sister, and yeah, it was a lesson for me. So this is it for now. These are some of the ways how our grandma disciplined me. But she was an amazing woman. She carried on a lot of work, looking after us, managing her home, mostly alone, because my grandfather had so many homes, and he wasn't the one providing for us, but my grandmother was. So I owe it all to her. Thank you for listening. And if there is any part that you want me to talk more about, or any question or suggestions of things that you want to know more about me, just leave comments below. But please subscribe to my channel. Let's grow this channel together. And also like the video if you like listening to more stories, so that YouTube can also recommend to other people. I appreciate it. Thank you and bye.